I have two predictions for tech and antitrust in 2021. Number one, more of the same, a lot more of the same. And number two, it's all about the data. On a lot more of the same, I'm talking about antitrust enforcement. We need to be ready to see even more than we saw in 2020. Globally, we saw beginnings and ends of investigations and enforcement actions against big tech. And remember, in 2020 in the US, we saw the DOJ, the FTC, and the state's attorneys general investigate and file antitrust lawsuits against Google and Facebook. If you follow antitrust, you couldn't have missed hearing about these cases. And there are numerous private actions around the world filed against big tech. In the US, we're seeing Google, Facebook, and Apple and other tech companies face that litigation. Those cases are just getting started, so we could see more, and we could see even more in the ad tech space this year. On mergers and acquisitions in tech, be ready for continued scrutiny and more merger litigation from the US agencies in particular, and when it comes to tech. Even if the acquisition is of a smaller niche player, the agencies are on the watch for larger players buying smaller ones if that smaller player had promise in the market. So here's a pro tip. Make sure your merger agreements have the right protections and litigation clauses. We've seen a lot of litigation going on by the US agencies in particular, and we've seen a lot of litigation against busted deals. So when I say data, it's all about the data. We expect to see greater focus by the antitrust agencies on newer technologies, fintech, algorithms and machine learning, and blockchain. The agencies are likely to dig into the potential anti-competitive conduct in these industries that use these technologies. And when reviewing big tech mergers, they're going to think about how these technologies are being used, and they're going to think about the accumulation of quantities of data as a result of the merger. I think we'll continue to see the conflation of antitrust, privacy, and data, and thoughts around data. We have governments around the globe enacting legislation regarding data, concerned about the power that data represents when it's accumulated. So keep an eye on this space as well as these legislative initiatives are enacted into law. I think we'll also see legislative action in the US on our long-held antitrust laws and standards. I can't predict yet whether we'll see our antitrust laws change, but they might. So that's my prediction for tech and antitrust in 2021.